Cancer, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early December 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Cancerian collective out there. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic. Let's get it going. My God, Spirit Team, talk to me. What's going on with the Cancerian gang? What's happening? What energies, messages, insights can we take a peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Cancer in early December. What's happening? It's Sagittarius season. Start of the holiday season. What's going on for my good friends? God, and Spirit Team, what's happening? There it is. Thank you. All right, cool. So I do like this energy, and it is very common to see in water sign readings. I'm sure you've seen this a few times if you watch my readings. Super imaginative, very daydreamy. Now that could be really, really good. Hopefully you're not trapped in your head a little bit. But I like to think of this as a positive way to start a reading because it leans into the strengths that a lot of water signs have. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the December subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk about this card a little further. So we see this lovely lady. She's wearing a mask. She's in that purple dress. The background is beautiful and etheric. There's hot air balloons and some sort of nonsensical imagery happening in here. And it kind of feels like a dream. I don't want to say a fever dream, but it just feels super imaginative. And as I'm sure a lot of you already know, us water signs, we're very much known for our creativity, our emotions, our expression. There's a lot of depth here when this card is in the mix. So if we were to take the most positive out of this for a lot of Cancerians in this time, it's great to express yourself in various different creative ways, whether it's writing, even reading, I think is sort of expressive because you get to go into some sort of fantasy world, which is a good thing. It's very imaginative and very creative. Now, the flip side to this can also represent overthinking, thinking something to the point where it's like, okay, is that even really going to happen? So just try not to overthink or be in the mind too much when this card is here, because it can be imaginative to the extreme, which is something that we'll want to avoid. But we'll just leave it at that for now. I think that it's very nice and it does lean into your strengths, and a lot of you might be having some really interesting dreams when that shows up too, so keep an eye on for that. But yeah, let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say the first card here, it doesn't make or break the reading, it's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright, then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. Shuffle it up one time here for the Cancerian, see what's happening, please. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was a funky little reading last week. It was titled Someone's Watching You. It felt like someone was under the microscope. Now, for some of you, it could have gone the other way. There could have been a person or a situation that you were following very close, or there was someone following you kind of closely. That was the big vibe I was picking up because it showed up multiple places in the reading last week. But yeah, that energy could bleed over for a couple weeks, so keep that in mind. Well, let's see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or someone else's, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Cancer. What is happening? Guides and Spirit Team, thank you. Okay, Page of Swords. So just as I'm talking about last week's reading, the Watcher of the Tarot deck shows up again in position number 1. So we can automatically say that that theme might still be living here, but pages mean other things as well. It's not, say the whole reading is just going to be about that. Hermit, withdrawn type of energy, so maybe some of you are in lay low mode. That's not you. Ooh, very defensive type of energy, but not necessarily in a bad way. Let's get one more. Let's see what's up. What is happening here? Thank you. Magician, cool. Something's brewing. That's the vibe I'm picking up here, because like all may seem quiet, like on the surface, but there's like something underneath the surface that could be brewing in a very big way. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, and we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, similar themes from last week, but we do have some vast differences, pardon me. And elementally, I always look at the elements first. We have some air, which is the thought realm, logic, communication, especially with the page. and we have this Hermit, which is earthy, but it's very withdrawn. Both of these energies are hyper defensive. So like there could be someone that has their guard up in one way or another. And then we have the Magician, master of all elements. So I feel like I like the mixture we have going on here, where there's like internal, there's external, there's a whole bunch of different things going on. And again, all may seem very quiet on the surface, but with this Magician, it's like, oh, something's building up here. So let's go through piece by piece and really start to build this out. Position number one, we're starting with the Page of Swords. So as I'm sure many of you already know, pages, when they show up, they can represent people if you're connected to an air sign. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This could be them. It could represent people that are younger than you whenever there's a page. But the Page of Swords is like the others. It represents new things, new journeys, new cycles, new people. It could represent communication because they're all messengers. The only difference with the Page of Swords is that it's very defensive. It's very careful about how it chooses its words. It's a skeptical type of energy as well. So there could be a situation or something going on where you're very skeptical about it, or you're just keeping an eye on it. Because as I mentioned, just like last week, this Page of Swords is the watcher of the tarot deck. So it's either keeping an eye on a situation or an eye on a person. And again, you might be under the microscope here. The challenge of the Page of Swords, sometimes it could be a little too confrontational or a little too closed off or closed up. So you might be dealing with somebody where it's like trying to pry a conversation out of them might be like, you can't do it. It's like using a pry bar to get a word out of them. Now, moving to the center, quiet again. Similarities, there's differences, but there's big similarities here. We have the Hermit, so that's Virgo energy. You might have Virgo placements, you might be connected to one. And I always say with the Hermit, it's a retracted, pulled back type of vibe. So for some Cancers, maybe you're falling back into your comfort zone. Maybe there's a situation you're taking a step back from where it's like, okay, I'm just going to chill over here for a minute. That's very possible with this Hermit. In regards to communication, like we see with this page, Hermit's not saying much. The positives of this card, it links heavily into spirituality, similar to that Magician. So there's really strong spiritual energy around you guys right now. Intuition, all those gifts that you probably have. Aside from the wisdom and that, I mean, this Hermit, it's not really saying much. It can represent the unknown, the unexpected. It could be secrecy. When we get into the challenge of it, in part of the challenge of the Hermit, it could be isolation. It could be loneliness. And that's what I'm saying. Either you might be laying low or maybe someone else is laying low when we combine these front two energies. So we'll just have to see what's up with this. But I keep getting this vibe that there is a situation that either you need to keep an eye on or you already are. I mean, it's like, all right, well, just keep watching it. Even though nothing's happening right now, like keep aware of it, keep an eye on it. On to the back end, we have the Magician, one of my favorite cards in the whole entire deck. And like I said with the Hermit, this is a very spiritual energy. It speaks of prayer, meditation, ritual, very similar to the High Priestess in that way. This is an energy conduit. So I feel for a lot of you, your intuition could be heightened in this time, especially next to this Hermit. This is a card of manifesting, of creating. So whenever I see the Magician, it's like, all right, well, your powers to manifest right now are heightened. Might not come instantly, but you could really set something in motion. But there's so much power, universal karmic energy tied into this Magician where it's like, all right, this is all very quiet here. It seems like nothing's happening, but I can't let go of that message that I feel like there's something under the surface, something's brewing. So hopefully it's a good thing, and it can be for sure. But I'd say if someone or something seems oddly quiet, it's not going to be like that forever. I mean, for sure with what I'm seeing here. So I want to dive deeper on all the Cancer. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle. What's happening for my Cancerians? What is going on? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot. Because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Page of Swords. What's going on here? And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Cancer, you can drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. All right, Page of Swords time. What's happening here? Thank you. Okay, waiting. I'm waiting till the time is right. Okay, I like this. I do feel like this is nice. I think there is something that you should hold off from for the time being. We do have the Knight of Cups in the upright. That's one of the Cancer cards. Remember, it's not gender specific. It is a communicator. While Watch out for anyone that tries to sweet talk you and use flattery in this time. I don't know why that message is coming through. There is a lot of communication, at least building up here on the front. The Knight of Cups is very good, especially in the upright, especially in a water sign reading. It's moving forward in a very silky, smooth type of manner. So again, I don't feel like you need to be completely closed off to someone. You don't have to be mean or anything like that. Just it's someone being very cautious with their words. Or if somebody is being a smooth talker or using flattery, that's just something you don't let take too much of a hold of you in regards to that. But I feel like this is okay. But again, with the Page of Swords and the Knight of Cups, one of your cards, either you're keeping an eye on someone or someone's keeping an eye on you. And I would say at the least, and I'll know when we get over to the next two cards, there should be a situation that you need to stay aware of, okay? Or you need to keep it on your radar. It's either an important situation or a serious situation, and it's like, I need to keep this on my radar. Don't need to go wild about it. Don't need to like really jump in right now and do the most, but it's like I at the very least need to be aware of it. Okay, so again, an important or serious situation could be brewing. So let's move over to the Hermit. We're not going to stay there too long. I do feel like for some of you, this could be really, really good because it's someone playing nice. Like they're playing nice at least. So let's see why the Hermit's here. Why is the Hermit? I mean, again, the eyes could still be on. The eyes could still be on in one way or another. But why is the Hermit in the mix? What's going on here? Okay. Page of Pentacles. Now there's just like tons of people here. Now all the people are starting to show up. So we do have the Page of Pentacles in the upright, and that is a similar vibe, but a different vibe to this Page of Swords. Earth sign energy, I will say this, we have 3/4 of the zodiac out right now. So we got earth, water, we have air. So we're not going to really pinpoint it on too many, unless you're linked to a Virgo or an air sign specifically. But when I see the Page of Pentacles, it's much more open to communication. It's much more open to having a talk. So when I see the Hermit clarified by this Page of Pentacles, again, this is somebody popping up out of nowhere and saying like, hey, let's talk about this. Seen this for a few other signs this week. You may be having some conversations that pop up out of nowhere. So again, surprising, unexpected talks, things like that. It's just showing up here strong. And again, I feel energies of people speaking nice. There's a lot of good conversation. Not sure how deep it's going to be. But yeah, the Page of Pentacles to me is a good thing in this area. And there may have been times in recent history where there were communication blockages or just not really much being said. I think that's going to change because although it's very defensive, remember what I said, there's a lot brewing underneath the surface. And now we're getting to the clarifiers and all these energies are starting to turn. If this Page of Swords turns into the Knight of Cups, that's a good thing. If this Hermit turns into the Page of Pentacles, that's a good thing. Pardon me. Oh, I just got a frog in my throat. So that's interesting how we're talking about communication and I get like a whole frog in my throat while I'm talking about it. So let's just keep moving. We're not going to linger here for long. So the big focus here, again, the surprising, unexpected talks, because both of these defensive energies are flipping. Okay, so keep an eye on it. So especially if there's someone that's pouring it on too strong, like just too much out of nowhere. But let's go in on the Magician. As the energy is brewing, my friends. Why is the Magician here? Oh, and the card flipped just as I did the very first shuffle. Okay, we have the Ace of Cups, another communication card. Okay, I'm surprised, but I'm not. Now, I always say with the aces, they're all representing offers and opportunities, specifically the Ace of Cups. It's really nice. The fact that it came up in the upright, I'm really liking how this turned. So for some of you, if you're dealing with any situations that are a little difficult right now, or if you've been really stressed or anything like that, I feel the energy lightening up and improving in a very big way in the near future. This is a good thing. Now, the Magician, maybe a small portion of you are manifesting this conversation, or maybe someone you're connected to is. That's very possible. But I like the results of it. That's the one thing that I'm really enjoying, because it's like, yeah, up here, yeah, the energy was brewing, but there was a lot of quiet. No quiet down here. There's a lot of chit chat. There's a lot of chatter in the clarifiers here this week. Again, for some of you, maybe you're manifesting a new cycle or a completely big shift and change. That could be for sure as well. But there is somebody trying to manifest a conversation. So it's interesting that it's showing up here. I feel it coming. So just like I said, there could be surprising or unexpected ones that you weren't even trying to manifest could be showing up. So your reading this week is definitely based around communication for one reason or another. So I'm not sure if you're laying low or if somebody else is, but there's a lot of talking. Okay, so if you're not the most social person, like, this energy might not be very comfortable. But let's go through and do a quick recap, and we'll get into the shadow card. If you kindly look in the box, position number 1, I have the Page of Swords with the Knight of Cups. Now, I did say there could be an important or serious situation that you need to keep your eyes on, or at least keep aware of it. You don't have to like be mean or be super proactive or anything like that. Just keep it in your awareness. But just as we're seeing, all this defensive energy is starting to change and starting to open up, because as we move over to the Hermit with his, which is withdrawn, we have the Page of Pentacles, where it's like, okay, people are coming out of the woodwork. There could be conversations, unexpected, surprising ones that you weren't expecting to have, or people you weren't expecting to hear from. You might be more popular than you usually are in the coming days and weeks. Even on the back end, we have the Magician with the Ace of Cups. More cards of offers, communications, and talks showing up here in a really big way. Whether it's something you're purposely manifesting, maybe someone else is purposely manifesting it. If you're watching this for career, this is a good thing as well, because this could be opportunities starting to bloom, which is good. So for a lot of Cancers, if it's personal relationships, it is communication based. If it's career and money things, opportunity starting to bloom. So I really like this. Please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows for you. Let's get a good shuffle here. Let's see what's going on for the Cancerians. And yes, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going. What do we got for the Cancerians? Oh, there we go. Thank you. All right, so we do have the Fool card that does kind of fit a few of the themes that we were seeing this week, especially the Ace of Cups. The Fool does represent new cycles, new journeys, new adventures. It's usually very good. Seems happy. I mean, some of you might just be connected to an Aries that's very prominent in this time, but if that's not the case, when I see the Fool, it's like all systems go. So for a lot of you, you do have something coming towards you here, especially with what we're seeing, how the energy's shaking up and how this is moving. I feel like there is something nice coming your way. Now, the only challenge / shadow side of this Fool card is that it can be a little bit of a live wire. It can be a little volatile. It is fire energy after all. So just know you might be a little more impulsive than you normally are. Either that or someone you're connected to might be a little more impulsive. Just be cautious. And we saw that in the main part of the reading too. Like, yeah, keep something on your radar. Like, think about it. Know that it's there. You don't have to act on it just yet, because it's like that energy is going to act before you have to. That's kind of the vibe I'm picking up here. So we're just going to leave it at that, Cancer. Very intriguing reading for you this week. That's what I have for you. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the December subscriber surprise. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can check out my digital calendar and book one at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. But for the December subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of one of my favorite decks, the Everyday Witches Tarot. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, 2 simple things as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, what do you want Santa Claus to bring you this year for Christmas? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.